Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending the Staff Professional Development meeting. Tonight, the meeting is about Live, Learn, and Grow. I will discuss a recent identified well-being issue in the center and how we will implement and enable the initiative to improve this area of well-being. Before we start, I want to acknowledge the Bangjalan people as the traditional owners of the land on which we live and work. We honor the First Nations people culture and connection to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. I guess most educators, especially those working in the preschool room, have noticed increased children's challenging behaviors. Among newly enrolled children and children have been attending the service, we have seen difficulties in self-regulation and coping with negative feelings. Quite a few children have been very rough with their peers and even with our educators. As a result, we encountered situations where educators shouted at children or even applied physical restraint, which is unacceptable and can be considered inappropriate discipline by National Law Section 166. I think both our children and staff are experiencing this post-pandemic difficulty. Some children are significantly influenced by the changes in their families, like some parents lost their job or have a financial crisis due to the COVID, and some may have been socially isolated from the quarantine. And our staff have been working so hard for a long time without a proper break, as we had two experienced educators left last year and we haven't recovered from our staffing shortage. Therefore, I want to introduce an initiative for emotional well-being among our children and educators to address the issue and promote positive interactions in the setting. Why is emotional well-being important for the early childhood setting? The Early Years Learning Framework Learning Outcome 3.1 highlighted that children should be supported to understand, self-regulate, and manage their emotions and remain accessible to others at times of distress to become strong in their social, emotional, and mental well-being. Self-regulation abilities allow for engagement in learning activities and provide the foundation for adjustment to school. Children with these abilities are believed to regulate goal-directed behavior well and to have high levels of mastery, motivation, and engagement, all of which are linked to academic success. Educators' emotional well-being is critical for forming positive relationships with children and providing high-quality education and care. By interacting positively and meaningfully with children, educators help children feel accepted and develop a sense of attachment and trust. Suppose children demonstrating challenging behaviors are shouted at instead of adequately guided. They will not feel secure, respected, or supported. Their learning needs will be neglected, and their learning potential will not be maximized. Also, children imitate what they see throughout their development, which makes role modeling by early childhood educators of the utmost importance. We can't pour from an empty cup and teach self-regulation when controlled by negative emotions. When we feel well as individuals, we're better equipped to be responsive to every child and develop a deeper understanding of each child, promoting their ability to plan extensions of children's learning and development. Our plan is to implement activities, events, and practices based on the Healthy Mind Plada, covering sleep, physical, focus, connect, play, downtime, and time in. We will arrange an educational program that supports emotional learning and self-regulation and facilitate activities that extend to children's natural curiosity and interest. For example, we can start the emotional learning program with a session of significant emotion learning and guide children to recognize their feelings when overwhelmed, incorporating emotion flashcards and dramatic play. We will do soccer and yoga incursions weekly and hold social events like family brunch monthly. Soccer and yoga experience benefit children's physical and emotional development as they enhance children's gross motor skills and self-control while promoting mindfulness and a focus on breathing. Children are supported to follow instructions, explore their body strength, and control their impulses while having a stimulating and different experience. We will ensure a relaxing and peaceful environment with dimmed natural light and calming music during rest time for children to rest their minds and body. Our plan also includes events and supports for educators' emotional well-being. Since many new educators recently joined our team, we will do an outdoor team building activity. Relationships with colleagues, particularly room teams, are essential for workplace well-being. Educators within a solid and effective team utilize each other's strengths and respect, care for, and support each other. We wish to ensure each educator gets to take a leave or break when needed. We work in highly relational job where it takes a lot of emotional labor to suppress strong feelings surfacing from stressful times. While it is almost impossible to disconnect personal and work life completely, we all need a break occasionally to unwind and reset. We want to encourage educators to seek work-life balance actively, building connections outside the workplace, have hobbies to entertain and motivate themselves, and be mindful of their emotional well-being. For those needing counseling services, we have access to trained mental health professionals who can help you clarify concerns, explore options, develop strategies, and increase self-awareness. Some potential barriers are identified to successfully implementing the initiative plan. First, children with special educational needs may experience difficulty in participating in the emotion development program and fulfilling emotional learning outcomes. We have a child diagnosed with autism in a toddler's studio and another preschooler with ADHD and mild hearing impairment, who both needed additional support in self-regulating big emotions. We suggest the room leaders work with their parents and specialists on individual educational plans to identify their strengths and specific needs and analyze required adjustments to support their emotional development. Second, as we mentioned before, some families' economic conditions influence the children. The center will help those families to apply for childcare subsidy and connect them to the community for external support. We also suggest educators enhance our communication and collaboration with parents to help children settle in and smoothly transition from home to the setting. Last, we may not have enough staff to cover for educators who want to take a leave as we are still managing our staff shortage. We will actively seek more full-time and casual educators to cover the needs, and we suggest our educators apply for their leave 2 weeks prior, which will enable the management to secure relief educators. So, what is our role as educators to enable the emotional well-being initiative? Educators take a critical role as it is our essence to provide education and care for children. We are co-learners with children and should continuously seek ways to build professional knowledge and skills. I want to introduce you to an online program, Understanding and Supporting Children's Behavior. It is funded by the New South Wales Department of Education and delivered by Phoenix Support for Educators. Through this free, self-paced course, you can learn about children's emotional and brain development, understand the needs behind their challenging behaviors, gain strategies to approach and connect with them, and foster their emotional learning. The recording of the last live webinar has been released. I can email you the link for registration if you need it. As we mentioned, children imitate what they see throughout their development. Role modeling can impact a child's emotional development, socialization, problem solving, and willingness to try self-regulation strategies when feeling overwhelmed. To be role models in emotional well-being, educators must show children positive ways to work with their feelings, interact with others, and navigate the world. Through cooperative relationships based on trust, respect, and honesty, educators should foster a collaborative and professional culture to encourage ongoing professional development and offer support to one another in all circumstances. When a colleague appears stressed, educators could reach out and help by having a comforting chat or offering a short timeout when possible. Last but not least, educators must pay attention to work-life balance and look after our health and well-being. Arnie suggested ways to improve work-life balance. First, accepting that the to-do list is never ending, no matter how much time we spend attacking it. Second, skipping tasks take up a lot of time but adds little value, and be decisive in how we use our time. Third, set aside time for work, family, and yourself, and do not allow work time to infringe on your own other time. Finally, prioritize urgent tasks and take more time on complex tasks. Supporting and enhancing educators' well-being positively impacts children's emotional well-being and development. To explore the role of the environment in enabling the initiative, we will look into the environmental factors in this ecological model. In the direct environment's microsystem, children's family, educators, and peers all have an influence on their emotional well-being. As children's first and most influential teachers, we encourage parents to role model emotional well-being through positive interactions with their children. We would support children in the center to interact with each other in a respectful and caring way. We will make the center's physical environment a calming, relaxing, and engaging place to play and learn. We can also display posters of yoga poses and self-regulation strategies in the room to provoke emotional learning. As discussed before, educators will demonstrate ways to approach big emotions and support children with challenging behaviors by fulfilling their underlying needs. In the next layer, the meso-system, we want to collaborate with families on the initiative by communicating information and practices and negotiating a shared expectation towards children's emotional development. This will ensure the continuity of practices from home to the setting. The third layer, the exosystem, involves families' economic situation, local government, and mass media. We can connect families with the community, especially for those immigrant parents, and help them access the support they need. There is not much we can do concerning the out layer, the microsystem. Hopefully, there will be positive changes at this level to promote emotional well-being in the early childhood settings. Here is my reference list. At the last, I want to share a quote with you. The only way to know is to live, learn, and grow. Thank you again for listening.